So, in the last 48 hours, there's been a lot of chatter about Haitians eating domestic animals. Story time. In the early 2000s, I was living in the Dominican Republic. I was an English teacher and a Jehovah's Witness missionary. Yeah, I was one of them. So at the time, I was living in Santiago de los Caballeros in the middle of the country in a dope ass house with three other roommates. I was living with Gene, who was Haitian. I was living with Jeremy, who was Canadian. And I was living with, what was his name? Nick. Let's call him Nick. White boy from Oregon. Now, Gene was in the Spanish congregation with me. Nick was in the English congregation, I believe. And Jeremy, the Canadian, was in the Haitian Creole congregation. And Jeremy was conducting a Bible study with a Haitian dude from New York that was recently deported back to the Dominican Republic. Let's call him Giraldi. Now, usually when someone is deported from the United States, they can't go back for at least 10 years. And Giraldi was still decked out in his New York gear. He wore Sean John. He wore his Yankee hat backwards. He had chains. He had rings. He had gold teeth. But the Dominican Republic, culturally, is very racist and xenophobic against Haitians. And in the Dominican Republic, the Haitians that migrate to the Dominican Republic live in small makeshift villages called bateys. And in bateys, they build their own houses out of sheet metal, out of tin, and all that stuff. And it's a stark cultural and classist contrast. I mean, there'll be a big, expensive house, and then right next to it in the field will be a Haitian batey. So even though Giraldi was repping New York, he was still living in the batey because of the xenophobia in the Dominican Republic. So he would come to our house for his Bible study. One day, he shows up with a bucket of kittens. They were alive. And he said, "Hey, can you guys look after these kittens for me?" And we said, "Giraldi, what's going on?" And he said, "Because my roommates ate their mom." So look, I ain't saying what they were saying on the news and in the debates was right. I'm just I'm just telling you guys a story that happened to me. And you know what? I think it's good that some people are getting a wake-up call. Some of y'all's pets is somebody else's food. We treat pets in this country better than we treat other human beings. And the one dude that keeps talking smack about Haitians, you better be careful before you get a spell casted on you. These people beat slavery. So the last thing you need to worry about is grilled kitty cat.